Hey, what's up, everybody? So tonight we are going to be drafting some Bloom Burrow. I've got a guest with me tonight, KJ Cowboy Dan. What's up, man? Thanks for stopping by.
Oh, thank you, thank you. We've been spending the day together.
Yeah. So, have you played any Bloom Burrow yet? Have you looked at the set? Like, what's your thoughts on it?
My only gameplay I've been able to do so far, because as everybody knows, or if you know me from anywhere, I'm learning the game right now from your community, and I've just started playing Arena, and because I don't have a physical deck myself yet, we're working on getting that.
Okay, cool. All right. So what I'm gonna do tonight with you tagging along here, I'm gonna draft some Bloom Burrow. As I go through like the draft process and the deck building process, I'll kind of throw out why I'm doing certain things, why I'm taking certain cards. Um, Basically, this is going to be, I don't want to say a crash course, but I mean, you can ask questions as we go, and I'll explain as much as I can, given that there is time limits when we pick the cards. But um, when we get to the end and all the cards are there, we can talk a little bit more in depth about the deck that I chose and why I went the route that I did. Usually I'm by myself when I do this, and I just kind of talk into the air, and people out there in YouTube world listen. So let's go ahead and fire this draft up and see what happens.
Right on.
So as we were talking before we went live, we looked at all the color pairs and saw the different creature folks that are each color pair. So we'll see what we end up with. Typically, your first pack is going to kind of give you a roadmap to where you're going. Because if you open a really good rare or you open a really good uncommon in a certain color, that usually is your primary color that you're going to try to fill out.
Right.
Draft is a lot different than constructed, and I'll kind of go over a couple things when those kind of come up to show you that. So let's see. Our first rare here is a Valley Floodcaller, which is a flash otter. Otters are all about the prowess and flash. Let's take a couple of look at our uncommons, which we got the Mouse Soldier. That this guy, he taps creatures when he becomes target of ability. This has Threshold. Mentor, another creature you control with flying enter. So there's a lot of blue and white in this pack. A little bit of green, a little bit of red. There's like no black in here. So if I were to take something, I might be fighting the person to my left in blue, white, and or green here. But I feel like it says you may cast non-creature spells as they have flash. Then when you cast any of these other ones, they get +1/+1. Any of those guys get +1/+1 when you cast a non-creature spell, and then you untap them. So I kind of feel like you can play a lot of offense with a little bit of defense with him. So I just think it's a really good rare, even though we might fight somebody in blue. Hopefully we can kind of cut them off. So in here, we're looking at this. Whenever a creature you control enters surveil 1, whenever you attack, 3 or less can't be blocked. Not really feeling that. There is very little black. We could end up going blue-black, and this could just be because it has rats and blue-black is rats. I didn't see a lot of black in the first pack. I don't like to take a second color right away, but it looks like that might be our option here.
Now, why is it that you don't like to take second colors right away? You like to build up your main color first, or?
Yeah, I like to try to build up that main color first, because in the second pack, you're going to probably see your other color formulate, because you also had the person to your left typically try to fill it out the same way. There wasn't a bunch of red in the other pack, just like there was in this one. So I think I might just go the blue-red route. I don't like this card per se, just because it takes so much to mana sink into. The level up cards are kind of like that. So like I said, there's not much red. So we might be able to, because this can be played in a blue shell because it has the hybrid color. So if we end up not taking red, it doesn't hurt us so much.
Okay.
But had it been one blue, one red, that would have been a little bit different. This one is put one counter, draw a card, only activate if there are 7 or more for threshold. Then you have the duo, which is a bird frog. It enters. It has a flicker effect, which is exile a creature and then immediately bring it back. Actually, it's return at the end step. Still a flicker effect, but not as instant. We really don't have anything to abuse that yet. Actually, I think this will probably be better. And the reason why is it has the threshold thing. It's a good early game creature, but it's also a good late game creature because you have the threshold ability to put counters on it to make it bigger, to be able to combat some of the bigger creatures later. So it's not like a completely dead card in the late game either. Target creature gains trample, +1/+0. Control a mouse, draw a card. It enters. Target creature can't block and it gets +1/+1 haste. Again, I really don't like either one of those. I think we're just going to stick to the game plan right now of taking blue cards. And maybe we get some ridiculous like blue white or blue black rare mythic in the next pack. That way we're not really set on a color pair yet. And everything we're taking still correlates with this guy here, because it's whenever you cast a non-creature spell, birds, frogs, otters, and rats get +1/+1. So we're still kind of in that theme. This one, if another creature entered the battlefield under your control this turn, this gains flying until end of turn, which is really good. Flying is a really good ability because evasion is really good. You always want to be able to have that ability.
Yes. I've actually been in my arena plays trying to decipher okay, let's see. If this guy has an attack, potentially I want to have something with a flight ability in my hand.
Okay, so there's not a ton of cards in here that I would want. The only thing that I'm really looking at is only because if we end up going blue-white, this card is really good because it's an instant speed +2/+1. Being able to combat trick on either defense or offense with something like that is very powerful. If it was sorcery speed, it's definitely just all offense with that card. Hey, what's up, Super Fast and Hillbilly?
Hey.
Then it's one of those things where it's not as powerful. So, right now our curve is a lot of 3-drops. I think I'm gonna take this. This is another we might play it, we might not, just because there wasn't really anything in our color. And it looks like white is kind of open. This is kind of what it's called reading the signals. And so this isn't that great. Returning something that's 2 or less to the battlefield. You get 2 creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield. The gift was promised. Instead, return 3. Right now, we don't really have many in those colors or in that mana cost. And this is more on our color, and it lets us to be able to do the flicker thing to be able to get this guy's ability to trigger if we need to. Let's see. See, this was our pack. This was our original pack, and this came back. This card is a really good limited card, and this right here signals to me that white is wide open. Even with this coming back, that signals white is pretty wide open. So I think what we might do here is I think we might just go ahead and call white our second color right now. And let's see what happens in this next pack. And of course, my wife's calling me in the middle of the stream.
Oh, I get that. Got to get some attention, love.
Okay.
I was looking at the cards still on the table here.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. So I'm taking this card. I was on the phone with my wife. I'm taking this card because board sweepers in limited are rare. Like they are really hard to come by. And it's actually a really good card to take just because you can gift somebody a card and then get a creature back too. So it's like destroy all creatures, gift a card, bring back my best creature, and completely take over the game. This card is really good too. This Frog Wizard. See what I'm saying? Like, look at all these white and blue cards that are coming from the left side. So I feel like the guy to our left may be in like red green or red black, or black red. Like, there's a whole. It just doesn't seem like we should be past a card like this if the guy to our left was in blue. And by cutting him off of good blue cards, he will send us good blue cards. Does that make sense?
It does, yes.
Yeah. So, see, look at this. There's tons of these other red. I'm sure he took some black cards or whatever. Let's see. There's another one of these guys. Vanishing Light. This is a good removal spell. It helps with the, what do you call it? Like casting a non-creature spell on some of our guys. So that helps. Plus, it's a removal spell. And enchantments are usually pretty hard to deal with in limited, unless they're in green. Green usually has a pretty good time of removing enchantments, but like black and red have terrible time. So if you go up against a black-red deck, it's probably going to be a permanent removal spell with them.
Right.
Wow. That's a pretty strong uncommon. Let's see. Get a 0/4 white wall with Defender. Whenever one or more non-creature, non-land permanents you control enter, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Unless we goes. So you can get a non-creature, non-permanent. Yeah, I think we want a dude. Let's see. Right now, our current is 9 and 5, so 9 creatures, 5 non-creature. You still want a good balance of creatures, even though we kind of want to lean towards non-creature spells because of a couple of the cards that they benefit from the non-creature aspect.
I gotcha.
Huh. Okay. Let's see. So another one of these that when he becomes targeted, do that. So this guy is really good with this guy. I actually played against somebody. We'll have to pick up some of these on the way back. I took this guy because he's an uncommon. So it's much harder to get one of him than it is the other guy. So I'm pretty sure we'll come across the what do you call it? The other creature much more readily available than him. So taking a second version, because this is one of those creatures that it isn't bad to have multiple copies of. It actually does something for your deck. Whereas like having multiple copies of this guy is not as prevalent, because you have to mana sink into it. So having 2 of them on the field is redundant.
Right.
This is a really good card for us, because it will protect one of our guys, and it also is a non-creature spell. And if we target one of our guys, like the Mouse Trapper, we can tap one of their creatures. So counter spells. Let's talk about counter spells. I absolutely hate counter spells in limited, especially if they say unless its controller pays X or 2 or 3 or whatever, because usually in the later game they're going to have the mana to counter your counter by paying for it. Even though it has the clause of unless if you control a bird, it's 4. I'm only going to take it because it's on color, but it just makes it that much harder to actually use as a counter spell.
Right.
In the early games, awesome. But if you draw it in the late game, it does absolutely nothing for you. So this is where we're getting to the end where there's just nothing. So we're just going to take random uncommons so that I don't have to... actually, this might be good for the deck. We're just going to take random cards here. All right. Oh, what did we get here? Quest Qualler. Whenever one or more birds, rabbits, bats, birds, or mice you control enter, scry 1. Other rabbits, bats, birds, and mice you control get +1/+1. We are not in the colors for this. I would like to take it, but we're not in the colors for it. I think with as many like rabbits and mice that we got, and rats, I think this might be the card just because I don't really see anything better. I mean, any Lord, especially a 2/3 for 2, that's pretty good actually. Ooh, that's a good one too. I'm glad we decided to go white. So this is one of the things, like reading the signals and seeing what color is available. Like if the person's in white, they should be taking this. Like it's a really good card.
Right.
But if they're not in white, they're going to pass it. And so picking up on what people aren't taking is a good way to get really good cards passed to you. So yeah, we definitely take that card. There's no reason not to. Ooh, interesting. I don't think we can actually utilize it, but I wouldn't mind taking it. But let's see. Daring Wave Rider enters. You may cast target instant sorcery card with mana 4 or less from a giver without paying its mana cost. So you get a free spell. Gain or lose life. It's a 2/4 Vigilance Flyer. I like it, but I think I'm going to go with the Otter just so we can cast a free spell. Like maybe we cast a Shore Up, or we cast one of the... like we can cast the Starfall Invocation and get it back and then cast something else. Like we can definitely chain some stuff with it. So I think the Wave Rider is just better for our top end. And I'll explain top end when we do the deck building. You and permanents you control gain Hexproof until end turn. Permanents you control gain Indestructible. Interesting. I don't know that I'll play it, but I'm going to take it. Let's see. Another Banishing Light. That's actually really good. I think we were going to take that over. So this guy is technically a 2/3 because he has Double Strike. So anything that has Double Strike, I immediately just double its power.
Okay.
So that's a 2/3 Flying Vigilance First Strike or a removal spell. We're pretty low on removal spells, so I think I'd rather take this. Plus, like I said, it boosts up our non-creature little activations and things like that. That's an interesting card. Untap target non-land permanent. So you could actually untap one of your creatures when it attacks. Our deck's pretty filled out. I think I'm just going to take this just to have it. You get to the end, and it's kind of like, yeah, you get to the end, it's kind of like, I guess I'll just start taking all these rares because my deck, I'm not getting anything for my deck. And this guy could actually be really good for us because we have the like the flicker effect. Like with this guy, we can flicker it and draw a card. This guy, when he becomes the... See, like, now this card's really good. It has utility to it. So let me explain why. One, you have, if you target it, it gets +2. It's a 3/1 for 2, so it can trade with some creatures early on. Not to mention, it has the little clause of sacrificing it to destroy an artifact or enchantment. So if somebody plays a Banishing Light on us, we could sacrifice that to destroy the Banishing Light and get our creature back, or whatever permanent it's under. getting to the end here. I'm just kind of taking random stuff to kind of finish this off. We'll just take that, whatever. And so there is a very crash course on drafting. So I'll go over the deck right now, and we'll go over why I chose some of the cards that I did, and then we can, if you have any questions, we'll kind of address them. So
Right. Okay, sounds good to me. I kind of got
all
the
right. So right
point
now
of the
we have
draft,
43 out of
seems
40.
Cool.
Okay,
43 out
cool.
of 40.
So we got 43 out of 40 playable cards, but we're not going to play all 43. Now, I'm a weird person. I always play 41 out of 40 when I play sealed or limited draft. Because I don't know why I feel a mixture on your shuffle with land and things like I don't know. It's my own personal preference. Other people will tell you otherwise. That's just the way I do it. So we have to cut two cards out of here. Right. So here's what I want to look at first. Okay. So here's our mana curve, right? We've got 2 1-drops. We got 9 2-drops, 7 3-drops, 4 4-drops, 3 5-drops, and a 6-drop. So we've got a pretty decent curve here. Because if you were, let's say that 9 and 7 on the 2 and 3 was over here at 5 and 6, you're going to be struggling in the early game. And so what you want to do is have a nice mixture in here of the 1, 2s, 3s, and 4s, because you're going to be wanting to draw those more for your early game. But like I talked about, you also want to get some utility creatures that, like, for instance, Nettle Guard. If you top deck it, it's not just a 3/1. It's also something that can destroy a target artifact or enchantment. Maybe they have a really good artifact creature, or they have a really good enchantment. That card is good in the early game as a 3/1, but it's also good in the late game to get rid of something that's bothering you or a problem. Another example of something that's really good in the late game is like this thing. Yes, it's a 2-drop for 2, but if you're in the late game and you got 4 creatures out and you can play this guy and pump your creatures once, that might be enough to get you through to win the game. So yes, it's a good 2-drop, but it's also a decent card to draw in the late game. Another one, like I said, this guy right here, Thought Shucker. It's a 1/3 for 2 mana. Good for blocking 2/2s. Good for holding back little 1/1s or 3/1s or 2/1s. But in the late game, if you draw this thing and there's 7 cards in your graveyard, you can start dumping mana into it to make this guy bigger, and you draw a card. Like I said, this guy, when it enters, draw a card. We got the mage right here that if we want, we can block with it. Then we can go ahead and go, okay, I'm gonna return it to my hand, and I'm gonna draw a card off of this guy's ability, and then I'm gonna replay it to draw another card. So you can use it as like a defensive wall to block and not take damage, and then bounce it back to your hand. Salvation Swan, another card that when it enters, you exile a creature without flying and return it to the battlefield. That's where these flicker effects come in, drawing the card or flickering this guy to cast a free spell. So if you kind of, I think you're kind of seeing the theme of what I went with.
Right.
We're doing the blue-white where we have really good spells, but we have really good creatures too. So do you have any questions?
I'm gonna hold any questions for right now because I'm kind of like trying to absorb, because that's while it's a lot of information, a lot of it was very understandable. Like I'm very curious about Flicker, as I've only been playing Arena for a couple of days now, and I've been playing the tutorials, so it's like
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to the point of where I've been able to like pick up certain things, but I'm like picking up things slowly, and like some of the things on Arena, like, okay, it's letting me play it, I don't know what I just did, and as you've been pulling these cards up, I've been reading the cards because, you know, the basic to the mechanic is what's in the card, but at the same time, like seems like what everybody's telling me is like when in the game you're going to want to have that card pulled, and with the luck of the draw, I think that you're kind of like could be like potentially wasting a good card if you play it too soon, if after you gotten it.
Yes. So they're out to that. The biggest thing is sometimes you can hold a card too long. I've had games where I do that, and I'm like, oh, I really don't think I should kill this thing with this card that I have, and then like 3 turns later, I'm like, damn it, I should have killed it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
picking up on that.
It's all a lot of like, sometimes it's trial by fire.
Yeah. I think that's what a good majority of the gameplay that I'm going to have happen is going to be a trial by fire. As while a lot of information is coming at me from, I've been using Arena, I've been watching videos, I've been talking to your community for like last month, and I've been learning all this stuff. And by the time I get to actual playing a game that's not a tutorial, it's going to be probably a slaughterhouse, but I'll be able to survive playing another one.
Yeah. So again, just real quick with the deck. Like I said, the reason why I took the first card that I took, which was this guy right here, he has a lot of abilities on him. You can flash him in. You can play non-creature spells. So we can even play our Banishing Light, which is an enchantment, which is a non-creature spell. We can even play that at instant speed, where normally you would only be able to play it on your turn.
Right.
That's why I took this guy. He has some really good abilities on him. And then let's say, you attacked with everybody and your opponent's like, oh, his shields are down, I'm going to attack. Then you can be like, flash in Banishing Light, get rid of your best creature, untap all of my birds, frogs, and otters and rats, and they get +1/+1 until end of turn, and then do some blowout blocking. Like, that's the power of this card. So let's hope some of these scenarios come up, and then I can really display them. But yeah, so gameplay with draft is way different than constructed. Constructed, there's a lot of cards that in constructed you can quote unquote build around. So it makes it easier because you have the entire card pool to pick from. Whereas in draft, you only have whatever you see.
Whatever you see, what you pulled from those packs that you passed around. I got you.
Correct. And whatever else people pass to you. What's up, Brandon? Thanks for stopping in, man.
Happy dang blanket day.
Okay, so we get to go first. We are aggro-y / mid-range, and this hand is terrible. It literally does nothing. And I'll tell you why. From first glance, it's like, cool, I have 4 lands, I have 3 spells, this should be a keepable hand, right? Well, this destroys a creature with power toughness 4 or greater, this pumps all our creatures, and this puts a creature back on its owner's library, but this costs 4, this costs 4, and this costs 2. We are literally going to do nothing for like 3 turns. So I am going to mulligan this because I don't like it. Now this, whereas it's not as great, we do have a way to reset the board, which is good. So I would much rather keep this hand and try to go from there, because we do have a 2-drop that we can possibly block with, or get some aggression in, depending on what we draw. So we're going to keep this. Being as I don't think we have anything that shuffles the deck, I think I want to put a land to the bottom. I'm probably going to regret that, but whatever. Because I like this with this. It'll be really interesting if we can pull it off. So we have a double reset here. And so here we go. We actually get our 2-drop out. So we do have this guy to play next turn if we don't draw 3-drop or we don't draw anything good. Looks like he's probably going to kill our guy. So he's blue-red, which means he's probably the Otter Prowess setup, which means he's going to have a lot of things that are non-creature spells. So like I said, I don't want to play this yet on that. It says maybe cast a non-creature spell, do 1 damage to each opponent. One thing we can do is test the waters. I don't think he wants to lose that thing, especially with us all our mana up. He can get blown out by a combat trick. So this is where we get the 3 damage in now in case he does have a spell to kill this thing later. So one of the games within a game for Magic is he played a 2/2. I have a 3/1. I had 3 mana untapped. He had 0 untapped. If he were to block into my 3/1, he's taking the risk that I don't have something to pump up my creature and kill his blocker. So now he's attacking with a 1/1 that has prowess and a 2/2 that whenever you cast a non-creature, deal 1 damage. Now this is the reverse scenario. Now he probably has a spell that costs 1 or 2 mana, and he wants me to block with this into his 1/1. Because if I block into the 1/1, then he does the reverse of what I was talking about, where he pumps up his guy, combat tricks me, and then I lose my 1/2. So I'm just going to go ahead and not take anything because I don't want to walk into his combat trick. But if he doesn't have one, he doesn't have one. There's nothing we can do about it. So now this is where saving that Banishing Light actually helped, because this guy is a nuisance. Makes all his instant and sorceries cost 1 less. So what I want to do is I want to get rid of that thing. So we're going to get rid of that Stormcatch Mentor because I don't want him playing cheaper spells. Now he may have a shore up. Yep, there it is. See, there was his combat trick. If I would have blocked here, he would have blown me out. So I picked up on that. Now this thing has hexproof, but guess what? We're still going to attack because I'm pretty sure he does not want to block with it. If he does, that's a win for me because I wanted to get rid of it anyways. So this is where you get in free damage, because in the end game, that 3 points of damage might be the determining factor of whether I win the game or not.
I gotcha.
Now, if we can draw 1 more white. Go ahead.
Oh, I just said I got you. I got it. Yeah.
Now, if we can draw 1 more white and he overextends, this Starfall Invocation is going to be brutal. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead, because I don't want this exiled. I'm just going to do this and destroy my own enchantment because it's not doing anything anyways.
Right.
No blocks. There it is. There's our white mana. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to swing in for 1 because it's going to die anyways. So then what we can do is we can gift him a card and get our creature back. He draws a card, but we get our 3/1 back. Or this 1/2 back.
Huh.
Put into the graveyard this turn. So we'll just get our creature back and see what he does. And he didn't have anything, so that's awesome. We didn't draw anything, but we're still going to be on the attack here. Because he more than likely has a ton of non-creature spells and was trying to ride these guys to victory. Luckily, we have this in our back pocket to reset the board again if things get out. Oh, see, he has his own. He's going to cast that. That's fine. It just kills our guy and removes it. Okay. So we really got to draw something here. That's not what I wanted to draw. So what I want him to do is I want him to overextend here. Let's see if he does. It's more likely he's going to attack, then he's going to play some stuff out. Oh, he's not. Okay. So let's see here. Honestly, we don't have a choice at this particular moment, so I'm going to have to do this. Because if I take one more attack and he's got some kind of burn spell, I'm just dead.
Right.
Oh, you can't do it. It's 4 or less. That's what it is. Okay. So that doesn't work. See, this is why I like Arena. You learn things like that and then go, oh, yeah, I thought this would work this way, but it doesn't. It's like I was telling you earlier. I do things for science to try to figure things out and remember things. And that's part of like casting this and realizing that it doesn't target this. And he has another assault. Wow.
I'm actually picking up a lot more as I've been watching people play these, either Arena or when I sat in on Hillbilly's game the other night and I was watching through chat. I was in chat, and I was watching, and I feel like I'm picking up a lot more by watching people play their cards, and watching, particularly, I appreciate the way you're telling me what's going on right here because when I've been trying to play Arena just earlier today and a little bit for yesterday, my head was like blown skull emoji,
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see if this lives, because if it does, we're gonna have to rabbit response. Let's see. Is it whenever you control? Okay, well, does this work? Nope, it doesn't. That's what I thought, because it doesn't target. So we're dead. All right, that's just how this game goes sometimes. So as you can see, the red blue deck relies heavily on sticking a creature and just making sure that the non-creature spells can do all the damage and get all the evasion in. We also drew poorly. I mean, we could have drawn better. I also could have played better knowing certain things, right?
Hindsight, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Every game's winnable afterwards, right? I can tell your smoke alarm needs batteries.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's one of those kind I can't figure out how to open it to make, I'm about ready to smash it on the ground, And the funny thing is they just installed this new smoke alarm 3 days ago. And it says it's supposed to be like one of those 7-year smoke alarms.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, this is a lot like the first hand in the first game where we really didn't do much for a couple turns, but having the reset button already in our hand and then having this guy in case we draw into something with each of these kind of removal spells, I'm just going to keep this one, especially going first. If we're going second, I might mulligan it, but this hand's just a little bit different than the first one, just because this one actually has like a board wipe in it, to where if we get to that late game and we're kind of struggling, we can wipe the board, then we just go ahead and do it. And hopefully they're not super fast. Oh, another blue-red deck. You don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Oof. Okay, well, I think we're just going to go ahead and get that guy out of here, because that can be a problem for us. Because he can play like a 4-drop next turn on turn 3, and I don't want that. Especially knowing that we have a second one of these in the deck, I would rather have it now. Oh, look at that. That's a great draw. Okay. See, now we have something for our little Salvation Swan. So, as I talked about with Flicker, so this thing, when it comes into play, you exile one target creature you control without flying, return to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it at the beginning of the next end step. So basically, we draw a card with this guy, and then next turn, we can exile it and return it and draw another card, and it'll have a flying counter. Wow. Okay. I guess I'm just going to have to pass the turn here, because I don't want to attack with my Pawn Prophet, because he's obviously going to block with the Otter. And I don't want to use the Swan on my turn. I want him to play something on his turn to try to kill my guy, or maybe I block when he attacks with this thing. Yeah. See, he's gonna try to pump this up and attack right now. Yep. So because this creature doesn't have trample, this is where you take no damage by doing this. So you block here. And then so there's a step after the blockers where you can play like instances or abilities. That's where this comes in. So then now we play this after blocks have been declared to exile our creature so it doesn't die. And we take no damage from this attacking creature in the process because it was quote unquote blocked.
Right.
And now we have two creatures with flying to be able to attack into his Raw to get it lower. And the nice thing is we have this thing to be able to do some trickery next turn on him. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to send both of these guys, because we got to get this thing killed. Because if we let it get to -10, it's going to be brutal for us. So we're going to go ahead and send both of these guys there. Put it down to 3, and then we're going to end the turn. Now we have the ability to play this thing. We have the ability to play this thing. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a token that's a copy of Storm Splitter. Exile that token as being... Whoa, that's interesting. Okay. And it has haste. Okay. So the question is, what does that do for you? If it's targets, it's half to attacking creature. Okay. So he's going to attack. So what we have to do is we have to play this. If we want to block with a creature, The creature has to be untapped in the attacker step in order to be a blocker in the blocker step. And I know this is a little confusing, but if I were to do this in the blocker step, we're already past the point where I can declare a block. So that's why I have to do it now in the attacker step to untap this creature. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bounce this guy back to his hand. The reason why I'm bouncing that is because it costs him 4 mana to play that card. And so now he's going to shore up on it, and that's fine. Okay, so now we're going to block here to get rid of one of his otters. And we're going to take 6, which is fine. He still has to exile that. So now we have taken away his what do you call it? Ability for the turn. All right, so we have some decision making to do. We definitely want to attack that Rawl and get it as low as possible, but the question is, do I reset the board or do I wait another turn? Because right now I'm at 2, 4, 6. That put me to 8. If he prowess triggers, that puts me to 5. If he prowess triggers again, I'm dead. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to swing in here like this.
Get rid of that otter.
And then we're going to play our land for turn. And I think the best thing to do is to play this and use it as a blocker on one of his creatures. And then next turn, we can finish off the Rawl and then Starfall if he tries to overextend. And what I mean by overextend is putting more creatures onto the battlefield than what he already has, so that we can get a greater value out of our Starfall invocation. Oh, that's gross. I did not expect that card. Yep, I think we're dead.
Okay, so he placed
Oh,
card
that
that was
in. Interesting. What happened?
Oh, I was just trying to figure out what when he placed that card and you believe that he's you said you believe that he's gotcha.
Yeah, so he's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 14. I'm dead. Because these all attack. They all have haste because it's a copy of it. And then these are, that's 8, 9, 10. That's 16 coming in. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're just dead. This is where I would have just conceded already because I know I'm dead, but I'm just letting you see what's going on. Basically, he's comboing off with this and this. And so basically we're dead no matter what we do. So I should have Starfalled last turn, and then I would have been fine because he didn't really have any spells that would have affected us too much, and we would have kept going.
Yeah.
He see, this is where waiting ends up biting you in the ass.
And that card, though, he multiplied that card quick, didn't he?
Yep, it has the ability right here. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a copy of it. And so this is whenever you cast a non-creature, put a loyalty counter on it. And so he kept this right here said, whenever a creature you control deals combat. No, that's not what it is. So he had multiple spells here. He played that spell, then he played that spell, then he played that spell, and just created tons of this, because this right here, when you have one and you play a spell, it creates one. Then when you play another spell, there's two of them here, so he creates two more. And then since he had 4 on the board and he played another spell, it made 4 more. So each token has the same ability as this. So each one of these triggers every single time you play an instant or sorcery. So if he was to play another instant sorcery, he would get 8 more tokens of this. And then if he played another one, he would get 16 more tokens. And it just keeps doubling.
That's brutal.
Yeah, that card, that's why that card's a mythic. It's stupid good. And I should have just Starfalled. Now that I know the power of that card, I will never underestimate that again.
That was brutal. I was watching that and I'm like, wait.
Yeah. And that's the craziness sometimes you can see in limited. I mean, that is a good build around for a constructed deck, and even probably in Commander. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you can get lucky and have decks like that in limited.
That was just
All
wild.
right, let's see. Can we hit the trifecta? Can we get another blue-red deck? All right. Whoa, this is probably the best hand we've drawn so far. And our opponent goes first, of course. All right. Go ahead and wait on that. All right. Well, let's go ahead and put this out there. Okay, so he's probably looking for a third land. And the reason why I'll tell you that is because he played a spell before attacking. And regardless if you're short on land or not, I feel like this is a very rookie move. If you want to get up into like the higher gameplays, you always want to attack with open mana, if you can. And the reason being is this block is a straightforward block right now. I can either decide to just trade off my 3/1 to his 1/3, or I can just take the 1 damage. I'm going to take the 1 damage because there's no reason for me to block a 1/3 with a 3/1. But had he left mana open and attacked with both of these guys, then I would have had to really think, okay, do I want to try to kill that 3/2 and get blown out by a combat trick? Or do I want to just take the 4 damage? See, he had a missed opportunity for 3 extra damage there, because I probably wouldn't have blocked his 3 extra damage. And now knowing that he's behind on cards, I feel like playing this to take out his 3/2 is the right play. Whereas if he would have drawn a land or done the sequence he did and then played a third land, I probably wouldn't be playing that Banishing Light right now. And I'm not going to attack because I don't want to lose my 3/1 to a 1/1. See, okay, what he's trying to do right now is tempo, is what they call it, where he sets me back, I have to replay my creature, and he gets to replay that to draw a card. The problem is he's already behind because I haven't missed a land drop, and he's now missed 2 land drops. I'm going to keep that there because it's actually a decent card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I don't have to play that guy. That has flash. So I think what I'm going to do, so knowing this, that he's behind on land, I'm going to bait him into a trick here and see what he does. So he's obviously probably going to play this card right now to see if he can draw his land. He drew a land. So let's see if he actually attacks first or if he wants to play that.
No, that land goes in tapped, so...
Well, no, that one goes in untapped. The one he drew.
It does.
So now he played a card pre-combat, which is perfect for us because he has one card. The only thing that I'm scared of is him having a shore up. But I'd rather get that out of his hand now than have it in there later. And let's see if he has it. So we're going to flash this in the attacker step so that it can be a blocker in the blocker step. I think he has it, but let's just force his hand. Yep, there it is. See, called it. Shore up, which is fine. Now it's gone, and we don't have to worry about it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this guy out because I've got this to start pumping up creatures. And then I'm going to put this guy out. Because I'm not scared of a little 1/3. If he wants to keep attacking, that's fine. Because next turn we're going to play this to start beefing this guy up, and then we can start returning it to my hand and replaying it to keep giving counters. You see what I'm saying here?
I do, yes.
Okay, you want to keep running away together? That's fine with me. And he's not attacking with us, 3-1, which is perfect. Because now we're just going to start going on the offense here. Because that's what I need to do. He's already burned 2 of these, which are instant speed, by the way. And he's playing them on his main phase. Anytime somebody's playing an instant like that on their turn, they're trying to catch up.
Yeah, and you're saying that he's already behind in cards.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would you play that earlier then if that was the case?
Play what earlier?
If you weren't behind in cards, you'd play that earlier then, or would you keep it till later?
The runaway together, I would play it. So like, let's say right now I go to attack, right? And let's say he's going to bounce this card. Right. Instead of letting that 3 damage get through, I would wait and go, okay, we'll run away together while you're attacking, bouncing my guy, bouncing your guy. I take no damage. And on my turn, I get to recast it.
Right.
Instead of doing it on his turn, bouncing, and then having to spend mana to do all that when he could just do it on my turn.
I got you.
I mean, what's wild is he's played that thing 4 times now. Is it 4 or 3? 3 times.
Now, can he like infinitely play that card? Is it like okay, you played it, you can't play it anymore after a while?
No, he as long as he can keep returning it back to his hand, he can keep doing that over and over and over.
Right. Seems like a card you'd want in your hand then. Or in your, it seems like a card you definitely want in your deck. I mean,
Okay, he's doing what is called going wide, which means he's trying to get out as many creatures as possible. Which, if I can draw that one card, it really helps us in the long run. Yeah, I lose a lot of my creatures, but at this point, with the way he's kind of trying, see, he's bouncing that again. The way he's trying to like build up his board, it's actually going to hurt him more than it's going to hurt me in the long run, because then I can actually bounce this back to my hand and then get this card back with the Starfall. So really the card I want to draw is the Starfall. But we'll see how lucky we can get. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce this back to my hand, draw a card. That's actually not bad. And then we're going to take our turn and draw another card. That's not the card I wanted, but let's see here. Having this is really good with this, but do we have enough mana for it? That's 5, 8, 9, but we only have 7. Oh, okay. So in that case, that's 3, 6, 7, and that gets +1, +1, +1, from that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this, and I'm going to pass. Why did it do it that way? Oh, that's why it has to do it. Well, shoot. Okay. It's out there. We needed another blue. That's what it is. Double blue, blue. Yeah. Oh, well. Oh, what is he going to play here? Run away together or Pearl of Wisdom? Okay. What you got? Probably going to run away together, but he should have played this first. So he's going to draw cards. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I don't like it, but that's just how we're going to have to do it. Okay. All right, so we're going to bounce this guy because it's the least cost creature to return. Can we draw? No. Oh, okay. Okay. That is interesting to draw. So let's go and play this. And can we play this? Yeah, we can play this and still have enough for this. We don't control. Oh, we control a rabbit right here. So that'll be interesting to scry too. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to start building up my board now, because now I have a way to do this if I need to. And we're going to intern. So this is where sometimes you get into like a stalemate and you're just kind of both kind of figuring out who's going to draw into what and win the game here. I feel like we have the better answers to kind of go up against an alpha strike of his. And what an alpha strike is literally if he just sends the entire team to attack us, rather than picking and choosing who attacks.
Act like another animal and just make yourself look bigger to try to scare him off. That's what I take it he's doing. He's trying to make himself look bigger by having this spread out like that and all the cards the way it is.
Yeah.
Two, three.
See if I can draw one more land here. We have enough to do Rabbit Response, Shore Up, and Flood Collar all in the same turn. Ah, see, here he goes. Okay. So he's tapped out, which makes this amazingly great for us. All right. So we have to do this in the right way. And let's see if we go ahead. If we play this now, this gives us another blocker. No. Damn it. I played it wrong. I messed up. I should have played this because I don't have the mana for this now. Okay. That's fine. We'll go ahead and do this here. Do this here. Do this here. Try to lose as little creatures as possible. Do this here. Do this here. Actually, we'll do this here. And do this here, which is 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's fine. All right, we lost one creature. Oh, look at that. Starfall Invocation. Nice. Okay. So here's where he can block 3 creatures. So he's going to block the 3 biggest creatures, which is boom, boom, and boom. He's at 11. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Shore Up. He's dead. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to attack with everything. Okay. Let him declare his blockers. And then we blow him out. And this is where sometimes in these standoffs, the first person to pull the trigger usually loses. See, he blocked the 3 biggest creatures, like I said. So 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to shore up onto this thing.
Right.
Untap, bump them all, and then we're going to Rabbit Response, and that should kill him. We're just going to click Done. And there we go. And that's how it's done. So that's what a very complicated board state. Yeah, that's what it'll look like. And that's where knowing how to do quick math, knowing what your abilities are, what you can do. I even screwed it up but it's funny. The screw up ended up winning us the game because had I played the card I was going to play, I wouldn't have had it for that attack to kill him. So it's kind of weird how that happens sometimes, whereas happy little accidents, right?
That was pretty intense, though. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's where, like I was telling you, that instant speed +2/+1, it being instant speed makes it that good. If it was a sorcery, I can't do it as a defense. I can only use it as offense. I was going to use it as defense, but then I ended up using, I can't play shore up because I don't have another blue, because I was going to play the otter, shore up, all my guys untap, and get +1/+1 and do more damage, but it didn't work out. It's kind of weird. All right, we get to go first. Not a terrible hand. We have some action in the 3-drop here. Hopefully we can draw some lands or some spells to play, but yeah, I think I'm just going to keep this. I don't like it, but at the same time, I don't hate it. Ugh. That thing's annoying. All right. Because it has menace. So menace means it has to be blocked by at least 2 creatures. You're going to pump it? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead. We have 5 mana now, so we eventually will be able to play this thing. I have a feeling he's going to attack for 1 and then possibly kill this thing or play that. Enters or dies, create a food token. Okay. So it looks like he's the black-green squirrel deck, which that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this thing now, because I know this deck relies on food tokens. I'm going to get, plus it's a 3/2. So he definitely wanted to trade with it to get another food token, and I'm not having that. See what I mean? There's another food. That's the other thing, like I was telling you. Seeing the deck colors, knowing what they're trying to play, it's very helpful to know what their strategy is, so that if you have certain cards, you know what to kind of do to get around it. So now we're going to play this, and what that's going to do is going to allow us to bring this thing back, and then now it's untapped, and we can double block here if we want, depending on what he wants to do here. So I doubt he's going to attack. Oh, alrighty then. So we definitely have options here. We can try to go for a swing here and see if he blocks this here, and then do this with this. But then I'm wasting 2 cards to kill 1, which doesn't seem ideal. Or I can just swing over for 3. Since I'm at 17, I really don't care if this thing attacks. I think the better play is to go ahead and just swing over for 3 here, because there's no reach, right? No reach. No. So we'll just go ahead and get our 3 damage in now. And then what we can do is we can play this guy. And then if we want, we can play this to... So what'll happen is if he decides to attack or kill this, we can shore up, tap it, and then be able to swing in for some damage later. Because this thing has the ability, if you target it, you can tap a creature. So if he tries to do something funky to kill it, we can go ahead and do this to protect it. If not, we just let him come at us for 4. Nope, he's not going to. Oh, okay then. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is he has no way to deal with flyers. That's the only thing I can think of. And maybe he thinks I'm going to... I mean, what does he think I'm... Okay, let's see. Let's do this real quick. So let's say I shore up, tap this thing, and then swing in. He just blocks here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 goes to 3. I mean, even if he puts me on those 2 cards, I still can't kill him that turn. So I don't know. Maybe he just didn't want to deal with a flyer. I mean, I've seen people concede over less. So
I guess if you some people can think, well, if you bow out, then it's not a loss for them.
I mean, it still registers as a loss.
Oh yeah, but I mean, in your own head, your own pride, your own pride cannon, it's like, okay, I bowed out. I knew when to walk away. Scenario for some people, even though you still get the L in the record books.
Yeah. Well, let's hope for one more win at least. All right, we get to go first. Double Mouse Trapper with a Tempest. Okay, so we got a bunch of 3 drops. Which obviously what we're going to do is we're going to play this guy first, because if another creature enters, he gains flying. So then we just play creature, and he just keeps flying. So, I mean, I feel like that's the best strategy here. Hopefully we draw a 2-drop or something in our next draw step to kind of curve a little bit. But, yeah, that's about all we can hope for right now. So let's just see what happens. Okay, we didn't get the 2-drop, so let's just go ahead and go with the game plan of putting out the water spout. And oh, great, a flyer. All right, there he goes. Now, the best card we could draw right now is probably like a shore up, because then we could play this. I guess we'll just go ahead and play this, because then if he plays something good, then we can Banishing Light it. And then it'll pump this thing up, which will be nice. He has 3 colors. Interesting. Okay, yeah, this is definitely the play here. Get rid of this thing. That thing can be quite annoying. Let's just go ahead and get in there for some damage. And then we have this to tempo. See, I was wondering when he was going to play this. I had a feeling he had that in his hand. All right. Well, let's just go ahead and play this guy. Keep putting some pressure on him. It's basically all we're doing right now is just pressure, pressure, pressure. If he plays a creature here, we bounce it. If we draw a land, we play this and bounce it and win the game. Okay, let's go ahead and bounce this. And he's not going to draw anything because it goes to the top. So now we're applying the pressure. And if we draw a land here, great. If we don't, we just play another dude. Oh, that would have been nice to draw something. But you know what? We'll just... let's see here. I think we play this. And we play this. And then we just wait a turn. Because if we draw a land, let's say he taps out to play a creature, right? If we draw a land, we wave Rider a creature to the top, and then we have 7 points of damage coming through. Interesting. Okay. Well, that sucks. So we'll go ahead and just sacrifice all our creatures then. I did not expect him to have that. Interesting. All right. All right. Yeah.
So the card he just played that causes you to sacrifice his creatures. What did that do exactly if you didn't sacrifice them?
So it makes every player sacrifice creatures, no matter what.
Right. All right.
Let's see here. So I want to save. Yeah, I just want to get this down. Because, like I said, this thing, I can drop it and pump. He's going to kill it. Okay, that's fine. I had a feeling he had that. All right, let's go ahead and drop this guy. That's fine with me. Ooh, he is not drawing anything. All right, well, I don't like doing it because I don't have any other spell, but God. Yeah, I got to get a dude down. I don't like it, but because I have the Banishing Light in hand, I don't care something because then I can get rid of it. As far as like if he plays a creature. See, like this. He can pump it only if an opponent lost. So if it has to, okay. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna attack, see if he blocks. Nope, goes to 1. All right. So we play this guy in the turn because I don't think there's a way he can kill us. All right. Well, here we go. Do we get there? Do we get there? Yep, we got there. All right. Sometimes, like that 6 mana 4/4, as much as I would have loved to get value off to casting a free spell, in that moment, it's like I need a creature on the board. He's at 5 life. It's a 4/4. I need to get something on the board. That's one of those things where you would think, oh, the right time to play this is when I get full value out of it. No, sometimes the full value is just having that 4/4 body on the board. Tried to hold off as long as I could playing it, but it came to a point in the game where I had to just play it for what it was a 4/4 creature.
That makes that perfect. That makes sense, actually. Yeah.
All right, so we're at least going to get 1,000 of our 500 back. Let's see if we can get another win. If we can get another win, then we only lose 100 gems total. If we can get 2 more wins, then we net 100 gems. So my thing is always trying to get at least to 4 wins so that I'm only losing like 100 gems. But because sometimes you you just play against a deck that just absolutely churns out and just destroys you, like that one deck where you had all the tokens. And so it's like some of those games are just like that, to where you just get absolutely destroyed. Okay, this is definitely a mulligan hand. I mean, we could try to be very, very lucky, but I don't want to try that. If we would have had 2 lands and one was blue and one was white, I would have kept this hand. But the fact that we only have 1, we got to mulligan this. This isn't any better, but I'm gonna have to keep it. We're on the draw. So let's go ahead and send. So I'm going to send this card back. No, let's see here. I don't foresee us playing this right away. Yeah, I think this is the better card to send back. In case we rip double blue, we still have a creature there. Oh. Is this gonna be? Come on, blue. No, blue land. Blue land. This is the times that I'm like, oh, this is frustrating.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Hoping that you're gonna get some whatever cards you're gonna need into your hand. But I guess that works out best for you in a sense because you are a gambler.
Oh, man. Okay, so I really got to draw a blue next turn so I can bounce that thing, get that off of there, set him back a creature to try to catch up here. Because he's not really doing much other than beating my face in with that. Oh, that's not good either. Yep, this is one of those games where you just don't play and we just lose. I mean, I could have mulliganed to 5, but I feel like at 5, it's an uphill battle. And I feel like with this being blue, 1 blue, this being 1 blue, this being 1 blue, we had to take the shot. We got 1 more turn. Yep. Not going to happen. He sacks the food. That's funny. Yeah, we're dead.
Wow.
That'd be magic sometimes.
Yeah. In the stream earlier, when somebody said, "Oh yeah, they'd like to see Magic done like poker," well, I'll tell you what. That could have been exactly the example because luck of the draw with poker, you get nothing in hand. So that.
Oh yeah, no, I have so many stories where I'm like, I got pocket aces. Some dude goes all in. I snap call. He's got like Jack 10. Flop comes out. It's like Jack 10. It's like, wow. It's like, or even worse, you'll have pocket aces. He'll have like Jack 9, and it's like the flop is like 8-7, and he's got a gut shot draw to a 10, and he hits it on the river, and it's like, oh, okay. Well, that was a lot of skill there, bud.
Right. I only play when it comes to poker. I only play Hold'em because draw is not a game I want to play.
Draw is way more bluffing than Hold'em, in my opinion, because it's because I've played a lot of draw too. It's if you've got 2 pair or 3 of a kind, you've got probably the best hand. If you get a straight, 90% of the time you're winning. It's really hard to get a flush or a full house in draw unless you're dealt it. And I remember one time I was dealt 6, 7, 8, 9 of hearts. And I was like, there's no effing way I'm about to get a straight flush in draw. But I was like, I got 4 hearts. They're all connected. I got to go for it. The pot was fairly large. It comes out around to me. I pitch the 1. They deal me 1. I flip it up. It's the 5 of hearts. And I was like, holy shit. Like, I'm sitting there poker facing, but on the inside, I'm like, I've got the damn straight nuts. Like, nobody is beating me in this hand. Nobody. Like, I would lose my shit if somebody had a royal flush.
I don't have the ability to poker face.
I ended up winning that hand and just absolutely annihilating everybody. They had no idea.
Yeah, I look like a 5-year-old in a candy shop when I try to poker face. So,
yeah, there was another night I was playing in my dad's garage. We used to play with a bunch of people, and I'm dealt pocket 5s. This is Hold'em, and I'm like, ugh, like I hate pocket pairs because I lose more times than I win with pocket pairs. Because mathematically, to get a set is a lot easier than trips, but it always seems to me that like somebody with like ace 4 will hit trip 4s faster than I can hit a set. But anyways, so you know the difference between set and trips, right?
Yes. Yeah, sorry. I keep on muting because of my dang beeping from that alarm. Yes. The set
Must be me.
No, sorry. No, it's me. My alarm that beep keeps on going off and I keep muting it. Yeah, sorry about that. That's annoying, and I do apologize, especially if anybody's listening in the VOD later.
That's fine.
All right, so what are we doing here? I noticed that you had like the gold cards and those silver cards there. Like,
I was just opening my packs that I got. So yeah,
your
back
daily
to the
packs.
story I was telling with I had pocket 5s, and it goes 3-way action. Like 2 other guys get in, I call, goes to the flop. Flop comes out 5, 5, 4. I just flopped quads, and I'm like, holy crap! Like I've got the stone cold nuts. Like nobody's gonna beat me in this hand. And so the first guy on the action bets. Second guy raises. I call. First guy calls. We go to the turn. It's like I think there's 2 spades on the board, and like a third spade comes out. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, probably a flush draw coming. And I think it was like the jack of spades or something. And then first guy bets. Second guy raises. I call. First guy calls. Turn comes out. It's like the jack of diamonds or something. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Somebody's got a flush and somebody's probably got a full house. I go, this makes this real easy for me. So first guy bets. Second guy goes all in. I'm like, he must have the full house. And so I call, and the other guy goes all in. So I have to call his amount. And so first guy flips over flush. Second guy flips over full house. And he's thinking like, oh, I've got it. So I flip over the pocket 5s and go, I got quads. And they all lose their shit. They're like, you weren't raising? You weren't betting? Like, what were you? I was like, dude, you guys were both doing it for me. I didn't have to do anything. Like, why would I scare you guys out? And so they got mad, but I ended up winning like $200 on that pot.
Yeah. Why? I always figure, if you do have the ability to keep the pot going, and you think that you have the chance, keep the pot going. I mean,
Oh
there's
yeah.
no harm in coming home with a little extra cash.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm gonna sandbag when I can, especially when I know I got the nuts and I can't lose. I'll let you two fight it out so you can pay me.
I definitely
So,
don't want to come over on a Saturday night poker night for you guys.
all right. Well, so what'd you think? How'd you like it?
I actually learned a lot there, and like I said, I actually learn a lot more when I'm watching somebody play and they're telling me what's going on. Because when I've been playing with Arena, I've only been playing with it for a little bit, but uh, I'm having a trial by fire trying to figure out. I mean, Arena, it goes, okay, you place that card, there you go, and I'm like, but what did I just do? I read the card. I did what I figured it was supposed to do based off what the card said, but obviously I didn't do what I should have done, and my education has been a lot of watching you guys play and a lot of you guys telling me these these stories about a lot of the play. I can't watch like you guys play against each other in like the little game modes that you guys have on stream, because I've been sitting on the Hillbillies trying to watch, and it's like, okay, what is going on there? But I've been trying to sit on a Hillbilly while he's watching and while he's playing with his game, and because and DJ when he's playing with some of the other guys, you know.
Are you talking about when they play like Commander Paper Magic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're not really saying what they're doing. It's like, okay, they know their cards so well that they're playing it, and they're playing the cards, and then uh, on to the next person in the rotation of playing their cards. And watching you play here, you were telling me everything that you were doing, which makes me understand what's going on. What I'm learning is not only just the game mechanics, but why you're playing these cards.
Yeah, the thought process behind
Right.
getting to the victory. Um, yeah, so if you ever have any downtime or want to watch some stuff, I do have other times that I've drafted or played on Arena on my YouTube. Some of the lives, or even like I'm trying to do. I tried to do one the other day where I did it offline. I didn't do a live, and I was gonna do where went through the drafting process, went through the gameplay process, and then I was going to cut everything to where it wasn't like how this stream is like almost 2 hours long. It was going to be more like a 20-30 minute video so that you get like the meat rather than like all the space in between the downtime and things like that. And it kind of sped up a little bit, but it still hits the fine points of like, here's why I did this, here's why I drafted this, here's what we got, here's what we did in this game for this play. But as I started editing it, for some reason, it lost audio like 20 minutes in. And so you can't hear me at all talking or anything like that. So I'm trying to decide if I want to just scrap it or if I want to do a voiceover or what.
The
It
original
was,
VOD lost the original VOD lost audio, or
yeah, and I don't know why. I don't know if it was just I accidentally hit a hotkey and muted the mic, or what. So I'm working on, because that was also kind of a test run for when I make like the videos for the Waffle Academy stuff, to have those, because what I would do is I would upload those to YouTube, but they would be private. And then people that get into the academy, they can watch those videos and see things, because it's not just going to be like gameplay. I'll go into like, for instance, let's look at, actually it would be, I think it's under this tab. Really? I'm just gonna, there we go. All right, so go into collection. So like for instance, I would pop up a card for like beginners to basically explain a certain mechanic or something. So like it would be me on the screen like how I am now, but then I would pop up like this card here and be like, this is an enchantment. What an enchantment is when you cast it, it is permanently on your battlefield, and it has an ability that whenever a creature enters the battlefield, now it just says enters, but when it enters into the battlefield, you will gain 1 life. This means if your opponent plays a creature into the battlefield, or you put a creature into the battlefield, you will gain 1 life. And that is what is called a trigger. So I would basically do something like that to go into the very basic rules and concepts of a card and what it does and how it works, and explain these type of things to people. I would even go as basic of explaining the 5 colors and what they represent and why they're in the game. So like white has law and order and life gain. Blue is control and counter magic and drawing cards, like things like that. So it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of things. So that's why I'm saying I want to get a big bulk of it done and then release it and then keep updating it as it goes along.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. And if you need somebody who's like a newbie to say like, "Hey, look, I don't understand," I'll be there to volunteer. Yeah, no,
So,
I
and that's
appreciate you
where
taking the
like,
time.
yeah, no problem. And that's where like that would come into like if for some reason I put out a video and let's say you're in the group, like you've gotten into the academy and everything, and you want to post something, you can post a question, be like, "Hey, I didn't understand how you explain this," and then that's where like the Discord community or the chat comes in of like, "Hey, like this is what it is, blah blah blah," or look up rules this, blah blah blah, or like we could have a talk, or to explain it a little bit better, and that's where like that service comes in with the paid membership to get into the academy. So not only
Yeah,
do you get videos to watch and explain things to you, you can actually reach out to me too, and we can have a conversation.
the teacher's office is open on after class.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I want to do like a beginner's course. I want to do an intermediate course, and then I'll do an advanced course. And the advanced course is a lot like what happened right now, where we go like I do a draft, I explain all the different fine details of a draft, what you're looking for. Like I would even have like diagrams up, like picture diagrams for you to see like you're sitting at this position of the table and you're going to pass this way to the left, and then on the next pack you're going to pass to the right. So paying attention to the cards in your pack, by the time these 7 other people get it, what do you think will be your 9th card to see out of your returning pack? Things like that. Like there's so much intricacy and depth to drafting that a lot of people may not understand, even if they've been playing for a while.
Right. TCG dude says, "Yay, Greenhorn Dan."
DJ, how's class going?
Ask the teacher. He's the one who's going to give a grade at the end of class.
Yeah, so that's part of the reason why I want to do it, is because I do have years of experience of traveling to high level events, judging high level events. I've actually sat across from some of the players that are in the Hall of Fame and played against them. And it was one of the funner times of my life when I was able to travel and do all the grinding and everything associated with it. I mean, when I was single and it was like 12 years ago, 14 years ago, every weekend I was traveling up and down California to a PTQ, to a GP, to something. And me and my buddies were always playing. Like we would be playing every day of the week we could, to test, to be, learning the intricacies of the game, getting the fine details down. understanding matchups, understanding, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna cast a lightning bolt on a Birds of Paradise, but 1 out of 10 times you may save it. Like different aspects of the game like that. So, like I've been saying, you can go as far down the rabbit hole as you want. I'm just going to tell you, the further you go down, the more you're going to get hooked.
So, feed addictions is okay if it's a magic.
Well, I mean, I always just like with poker, stay within your means. So don't buy case upon case upon case to open packs to try to chase rares or money or things like that. Like, you can play this game on a budget. Like, if you find a local game store where they draft a lot, you can draft and get cards through drafting, and you can also learn how to up your game to play drafting. And then once you get enough cards, you can start playing standard. Or you can do the same thing on Arena. I mean, I've been playing Arena since beta. I've had this account since its iteration of Arena. Like, if you look, where is it? Profile, I think. Let me show you. So if you go to, right here. So set collections. I've been playing since this thing came out, and as you can see, during this time was COVID. So I played a lot of Magic during COVID.
A lot of time on your hands,
and then as time went on, I've played other sets and other things. But yeah, I have a very vast collection on here of playing. And what I normally do is here's the thing. I've amassed about 80% of this collection through drafting, because you're going to get, so if you go to get packs, you have to spend real money or gems. And the thing is the only time I want to spend money or gems is to get a mastery pass, because through there you get packs and gems and gold and other things. Everybody will spend either gold or gems on packs. See, look, oh yeah, I could get 90 packs for 18,000 gems. But if you know how much gems cost, it's like 18,000 gems is almost $100. So you're going to spend $100 on 90 digital packs. No, thank you.
Yeah, my wallet just
that's
screamed.
why when I go do that's why I do the drafting. And so, as someone that has drafted for quite a while and has gotten fairly good at it, I can usually end up right about here every time. So like I said, if you can get to 4-5 wins every single time, you can keep recycling that 1,500 gems. Because if you look, it's 1,500 gems to play. You get 1,600 gems if you get to 5 wins. So you get an extra 100 gems plus 4 packs plus the 3 packs you opened. Excuse me. So you get to look at 7 packs. And the commons and uncommons you get out of the drafting, they're irrelevant, really, because you're eventually going to just open enough of the set where you're going to hit the 4 of pretty fast. It's the rares and the mythics that matter. So that's why when I told you, I was like, oh, we're getting to the end of this pack. Nothing really good. I'm just going to start taking these rares because whatever. Because I do play standard and other formats on here. So I do have to craft cards sometimes. So if I can take a rare that might be playable in standard, I'll take it.
And you're just adding to your collection on Arena.
Correct. And I've spent real money, not gonna lie, so I can get gems just so I can draft. But as long as I can keep the drafting going like how I've been doing, then I don't have to put any more money in it. I think the last time I spent money on this was probably a year and a half ago. So I just my gold, it's 10,000 to do a draft. So what I'll do is I'll just wait till I get to 10,000 gold here, and then I'll do a draft off to gold. And then if I can, get 5 wins, I'm like, cool, I just transferred 10,000 gold to 1,600 gems. And the gold just keeps coming because you do quests and other things, and you just keep getting gold.
Right on, right on. I know I'm going to be having a little bit of fun playing this. I've actually thought once I get a little bit further in, I'm going to because I got my Twitch channel. I rock my Twitch twice a week, and one day I like to play video games on one day, and then the other day I do Suno AI. So my next Twitch night's going to be I'm going to be bringing up Arena.
Well, that is pretty much it for it tonight, guys. Thank you guys for stopping by. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. There'll be more content like this coming out, and other things, obviously, like Patreon giveaways, the pool games coming up, the raffle, all kinds of stuff. So we're trying to get to 250 subs. If we get to 250 subs, there's a Shelter of the Apocalypse regular version to give away to a lucky subscriber. And then, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff coming up. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't joined the Discord, link is down below. Also, the Patreon is down below. There is a free membership so that you can see some of the stuff. I do post for all members, which is free and paid, for some of the things like the pool game and stuff like that, so that you can see the exclusive benefits you might get if you want to up your tier. Because there are some of you that benefit from that. If you want to join the Patreon, like I said, it's free. The link is also down below. With that, I want to thank KJ, Cowboy Dan, for stopping by tonight.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no problem, man. I will definitely be doing more streams like this throughout my life. I don't know what to say there. But yeah, be doing more. I might be doing some constructed stuff too soon because Bloom Burrow came out. We had a standard rotation, which I did a video about that. And it'll be fun to try to brew some new decks. I did brew a rabbit deck the other day, kind of tuning it. But other than that, standard looks like it might be a little bit funner than it's been for a while. So again, thank you guys for all stopping by. And as always, stay syrupy, my friends.